13.9 millibar inlet pressure on gas valve at boiler. Absolutely shocking. This boiler has been installed by a large national company, and I'm not going to go into that too much, but the customer's had issues with the boiler since it's been installed. When I fired it up to start with, it actually dropped to 12 millibar, and they've also got other gas appliances, so if I'd have turned other gas appliances on as well, it'd have dropped even lower. My name's Hart, and in today's video I'm going to do sort of like what's happened this week, a few of the different jobs that I've been to, some issues, unvented cylinders, there's all sorts of stuff in this video. Also, I've got my new electric van, so a few people has asked if I can show that, so we've just got that. It's just there. It's an old British Gas electric van. So what we'll do at end of video, we'll have a little look at that. We'll just have a quick look around it, and then if you do have any questions on electric van, then if you put some comments in here, and then I'll do a full video for it if people want me to. So yeah, if you can, as always, please, if you can put a comment below, and if you can like and share, I'd really appreciate that. Let's get into this video. We'll come back to that Worcester Bosch shortly. The first job I've got today is a boiler service. This is an Ideal Vogue combi boiler. I actually installed this boiler, but when we look at this boiler shortly, we'll see that it doesn't comply anymore, and we'll look at that and I'll show you why. So as I said, this is an Ideal Vogue combi boiler that I installed with a TF1 filter on there. People say leak. Just have a look at the front of it, and this is the issue. You can see the flue there, so it looks like I haven't sealed the flue on this, so I haven't used the collar, but we'll have a look into that in a bit more detail later on. But as you can see underneath, we've got a shock arrestor on, and as I say, I installed this 5 years ago. We've also got press fitting on this, and one of the reasons I've always really liked the TF1 is that you can clean it out very easily. So every year I will clean the filter out. I just want to show you water in the system. I'm going to drain this down in a minute anyway, because we're going to pump the expansion vessel up. But if we have a look at the water in this, you can see the water is clean, very, very clean. We're also going to check this with the AD Pro check as well shortly. You can see there you've got some little bits. It's just some tiny bits in there that's come out of filter. So filter's doing its job, and it's just collected the little bits that are still, that'll break off in the system. But you can see that the water is quite clean. As I said, we will test this. And as we all know by now, the new British standards BS 7593 2019 says that we need to check the water quality on a service. So we've used as AD Pro check on this, and then if we have a look here, we can see the results that it's passed for inhibitor, corrosion and pH. And just a quick one on an Ideal boiler, Logix Vogues, compression fitting. Should have a compression fitting now on the blow off pipe. So we're just going to pump the expansion vessel up on this. I normally take them up to about 1 bar, which is probably slightly too high for most boilers, but I think that once you take it off, it'll drop a little bit anyway. And most of the time they don't have no pressure in these. When I go to them, if I've done it last year, they're normally okay, but when I go to them first time, they don't normally have no pressure in, so it's definitely worth checking. Another thing is the flue seal on the Vogue. It's worth checking that as well, just to make sure it's all in correctly. And after you've pumped the expansion vessel up, it's always worth testing the Schrader valve. As we can see here, this one is leaking, so we need just to sort this one out. So what I'll do with this, I'll just remove it, clean it out, and then we'll see if it's okay. If not, I'll go get another one from van, and then I'll put a new one in. So once you've sorted that out, then you just need to check it. So I use leak detector fluid on mine. Some people say put spit on, but whatever you want to do. Please remember, if you're going to work on a boiler, you must be gas safe registered or competent to do so. So I'm just going to clean the inside of the burner out. Now I know a lot of people use these power tools and they like polish them up. And if you do that, please put a comment below. And if you don't do that, also put a comment below. I just try and use this stiff brush that I've had from British Gas for many years. And as you can see there, it's clean, but it's stained. And I don't have an issue with that being stained. And then afterwards, all you need to do then is just pour some water down in this bottom bit here. And you can just wash it through. And that seems to be okay for me. One thing that's very important on any boiler, especially on a Vogue, well, just any boiler really, is you check this burner seal and make sure that that's all okay. And as I say with these, all you need to do is then just pour some water down it, and then you can go back over it if you want, and you can clean it out again. I have done a very detailed video on an ideal Vogue combi boiler service step-by-step guide, so just search for that on YouTube. And if you want to know more about servicing an ideal Vogue, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go over to another job that I've been doing this week with Mackie Heating. Me and Mackie do a lot of jobs together. Mackie supported me lots and lots with charity installs that I've done. He's been to loads of charity installs, and when he gets any big jobs or I get any big jobs, sometimes we work together. What we're doing today, we're taking out an old ideal open vent boiler, and we're going to convert this, and I'll talk through a little bit of the conversion, maybe do a few drawings and show you what we're cutting out, etc. But we're going to take this out. First of all, we're going to drain the system down, and we're going to drain the hot water down. So we've turned the mains off, the cold water mains. We're going to remove the cylinder. I'm going to take all this out. I'll go through this with you as well. Go through the H and your pipes that are coming down. Also, we're going to take the tanks out in the loft as well. And then this is going to be updated. They're having they're taking the shower out as well, and they're putting a new shower in. So just a quick one here, just for if you're going to convert a cylinder, your return pipe there, this one, we would cap that off under the floor or whatever we can. But then the flow here, so the flow that comes up, goes up here, goes up, round your OCP, open vent cold feed pump. We want to cut all that out. And then what we're going to do, we're going to connect this flow here to this flow here, because that's the flow for the heating that goes down. The first thing we'd do before we start to do anything on the job, removing any gas pipes, etc., we would do a tightness test. As we can see on the printout in blue, we've done a let-by test for 1 minute between 7 and 10 millibar. And then we've done temperature stabilisation, and then we've done the tightness test then for a further 2 minutes. I've still got loads to show you in this video today. We're going to go back to that Worcester shortly. I've also got a diverter head that I'm going to change and give you a little tip on them as well when you change them. If you haven't done so already, please put a comment, please like, please share. And now let's go to these tanks. I'll explain these tanks to you. Small tank is the heating tank for the central heating. The big tank is for the hot water cylinder, so that's your cold water storage tank. That's your expansion pipe there. That comes off the top of the hot water cylinder. And that's your expansion pipe there. That comes off the heating. So OCP, open vent, so open vent should I say, it's not expansion, it's open vent. And that normally on a tank that'd be 450 above tank. As I say, this is the heating tank. This feeds the central heating on an open vent system. So that's your open vent pipe, and that normally would be 450 millimeters front water level. You'd need to check the installation instructions for the boiler. Some of them are different. See here, what I'm doing here, I'm just tipping the tank up ever so slightly. What we don't want to do, if you have a look at the bottom there, you can see there's a load of black sludge. We don't want that to go into the central heating, so we just want to get as much of the floating water off as we can, and then we can take the tank out. So remove the central heating tank out of the way now. We're now going to take out the hot water or the cold water storage tank. So this is the tank that feeds into the bottom of the hot water cylinder, and then obviously you get your hot water from the cylinder. In this property, the property's got a power shower, and it's a built-in power shower, and it's got a separate cold feed. So this is tank fed, the shower's tank fed, so it's got a separate cold feed there. It goes down to the shower. So this needs to be connected back in, so that both sides of the shower then will be mains pressure. One will be hot, one will be cold, obviously. I've cut the tank up so that we can get it out of the loft. So these now in his loft, these are his OCP. So open vent, cold feed. Obviously pump is down there, but as I say, that's your open vent, and this is your cold feed, and they've come from your tank. So we've cut the tank out now, and now I'm going to cut these pipes off here, because we will not need these anymore for the new system that we're putting in. We're just going out of loft for a few minutes. I'll go back and we'll show you airing cupboard shortly and cut pipes down. We're also going to brick this up. So me and Mackie are going to go get some matching bricks, and we're going to chop this out and just try and make it as nice a job as possible. So going back to the H now, where the pump is. So we've got OCP, open vent, cold feed pump. So I've cut the pipes out here now, and then pipes above that I've just shown you, all we've done is we've just slid them out. So if we have a look down now from the pump, we need to strip all this part of it out, and I'll go over this with you. And this pipe here with the gate valve on is the cold feed, and this goes into the bottom of the hot water cylinder. So from the big tank above, the pipe that came out of the tank at the bottom, that's the one that comes down, goes into the bottom of the cylinder. And I have done a full video on cylinders, and I'll add a little link to that below maybe. And as I say, I've done a full video, and the title of it is Plumbing, How Does a Hot Water Cylinder Work? And in that video, I try and go through in as much detail as possible the hot water cylinder, how it works, which pipes for which, just to try and make it as easy as possible for new trainees and new people coming into industry. So hopefully if you want to just check out that video, have a watch of that, and that might help you a little bit more as well. But let's go back onto this video now. This pipe here, this flow pipe, this is very, very important, because we need to connect this back in. We need to connect this to the pipe that goes back to the boiler, so the flow at the boiler. This part of it we need to cut out. Obviously we don't want all this still in. And we need to connect this bottom pipe. So this flow here is the pipe that comes from the central heating boiler. And then we'll pipe that back in onto the other flow pipe that I said was very important. So as you can see on here, we've connected the pipes back in. So the flow from the boiler is connected to the flow to the central heating, and the return from the cylinder is capped off. I've got one of the trainees with me today. We need to pipe this pipe back up in the loft. We're going to use press fit. So I've just got this Pat, I've got Pat with me today. You can see there we've marked the pipe. We're just going to take the elbow back off. We can see that the O-ring is all okay. Check it all. Check the line so we know that it's going on the pipe. And then once we put that back on, then we know that once we've pressed it, that will never ever leak. And also we're not putting no muck and sludge or flux or whatever into the system. And that also helps with flushing, makes it easier for flushing. And that's it. We've piped it all up upstairs now. We're just doing bricking up. Mackie and Corey have been doing the boiler, and we're just bricking it up. So I've chopped all bricks out. As you can see there, we've got matching bricks, and once that all goes off, it should be a really good match for the customer. So as I said, that was Mackie's job. I didn't have time, or I wasn't there when the job was finished. I spent all day there. In fact, I stayed there till, I don't know if it was about 7 or 8 o'clock. It was quite late, and then Mackie and Corey were finishing off because they had to flush it. There were quite a lot of stuff still to do. We're going to go back to that Worcester Bosch boiler now with the low gas pressures. One thing I want to show you, I'm doing a zone valve on there as well, so the zone valve head is faulty. One thing I wanted to show you, something that's absolutely amazing, is these. When you're connecting into a wiring centre, sometimes you can loose up wires, and it's just easier to cut the, obviously do all your checks, TB 118, etc., safe isolation, but cut into your wires and connect these 5-way connectors on. Other people, other manufacturers will make these as well. These were just what's it merchants. So yeah, use these. But I'll show you that when we go back to this Worcester. And another thing that I've never seen before, which I think is amazing, is my new tape measure. Look at this. And why is it amazing? It's got the numbers on both sides. So sometimes when you put it on and you've got it awkward, and can't turn it round. Well, this got like a little hook, so you can hook it on your pipe, and then you can see numbers on the other side. Just thought I'd show you. I just think that's really good. And that's it's even got my initials on it. That. So we're back at the Worcester Bosch boiler now, and this is it's a Worcester Bosch. It's a Green Star, and it's a 40 CDI Classic, and it's on a sealed system. It's got an expansion vessel up in the loft, and it's also got an unvented hot water cylinder on this one. So we're going to service the boiler, and we're going to service the hot water cylinder. We're going to pump up the expansion vessels, etc. And just one thing to remember is, if you have got a hot water cylinder, if you want to keep the warranty, then you must have the cylinder serviced. And the person servicing it must be qualified, so they need a qualification to say they're allowed to service it. So just something for you to be aware of, because I've had a customer that was caught out recently, and the manufacturers would not honour the warranty of a leaking cylinder. So I'm just going to check the cylinder now. I've turned the water off. I've drained the cylinder. Just going to clean this filter out. You can see there it's got quite a lot of muck in there. And as I said, I've drained the cylinder. Not fully drained it, just drained the top of it so that I can pump out the expansion vessel up. So we're just in the loft now, because the expansion vessel is up in the loft. So we're going to pump the expansion vessel up. Now we've got a little bit of a problem with this. The expansion vessel, it will not pump up. So I've tried to pump it up, and also when I've took the top off here, it's the Schrader valve is leaking as well. So we're going to change Schrader valve, and we're going to see if that makes any difference. But it also seems like the bag inside this has bust, and the customer's informed me now that it's never been serviced. Nobody's ever been up in loft to do this. So that's probably why it's just not been looked after or maintained very well. So if we have a look on the side of this cylinder, expansion vessel, sorry, you can see it says on there, important, check pre-charge every 6 months. In reality, that's probably never going to happen, but if you're going to do a boiler service, then you know you could be doing it then, if the customer's going to pay for it, obviously, as well. We need to come back to this job. We're going to have to change the expansion vessel because the Schrader valve is still leaking. Just take it down now to gas meter. I just wanted to show you this bonding. So bonding should be within 600 millimeters or before the first T, and normally we'd say it should be 10 millimeters. But what is the fault here? You can see they've took the wire through the sleeve, and that's not normally allowed, really. We've also done a tightness test on this before we start, just to make sure that it's safe. So we've done as let by, we've done the temperature stabilisation, and then we've done as tightness test. And you can see there we've got a very, very small movement, which is allowable on the machine anyway, because it's very sensitive, and even just the pipe moving about can make that much of a difference. So that's all okay, we're happy with that. Someone has put some blue roll on this and taped it on. Maybe because it's been rattling, making a noise, I'm not sure. And if we just have a look at the case, this is just a cut back to the case from before, but the case wasn't actually clicked in correctly, so that could be the reason. When we look at the inlet pressure, or the working pressure on this, the boiler, it's a 40 kilowatt boiler and it's set onto maximum rate at the moment, and we can see it's gone down to 13.98 millibar, so just under 14 millibar. And this is without any other appliances connected, so obviously this would need further investigation. When I first fired the boiler up, it actually went as low as 12 millibar. And because we've disturbed the screw on there, on the gas valve, we would spray that. You've always got to check and test everything you do. And as I said, this is a 40 CDI boiler. So that was the Worcester Bosch 40 CDI boiler, and obviously there's a few issues with that, which I'll talk about shortly. Please, if you're still watching, could you put a comment below just saying still watching, just because I've spent a full day today editing this video, and I've still got quite a bit left to do in it, and I won't do them that long. If you only want short videos, I'll just do short videos. So the Worcester Bosch, the boiler, we were getting, when the boiler first fired up, we were getting 12 millibar. I didn't catch that, I didn't record it, but we're getting 12 millibar. And then the boiler was settling at about just under 14 millibar. And at the meter, we're getting about 19 millibar, 19.5. So what I've done with that job, I've called Transco out because I'm not allowed to adjust the meter. So I'm going to see if they can come out, adjust our Transco National Grid Emergency Service 0800 111 999, whoever that is these days. So the different in different places. Yeah, so I've called out the gas emergency service, if you like, to see if they can come out and alter the governor. And then I've turned the gas off to it. I'm going to go back because I need to go get an expansion vessel for hot water for unvented cylinder. So I'm going to go back and then I'll do another video maybe. So if you've got any questions on that, then please put them in comments below here, because that'll be really interesting, because what I'll try and do is I'll try and answer any of them questions for you. So what's important to take from gas pressures? What people often say, and these are gas engineers in gas groups, well, the manufacturers say that it'll work down to 15 millibar or 14 millibar. And a lot of gas engineers, from my experience of the comments I read, misunderstand what them instructions actually say. Yes, the boiler will work safely down to 15 millibar or 14 millibar or whatever the instructions say, but when you install a new boiler, we're only allowed 1 millibar drop over the installation. So if it's 21 millibar at the gas meter, at your appliance it should be 20 millibar, and that's working pressure, and that's maximum. So ideally, in an ideal world, you'd have 21 at meter, you'd have 21 at your appliance, but there is some pressure loss through the pipes, so we're allowed 1 millibar, and that's it. There's no exceptions to that. There's no, well, the manufacturer says you can do it 15 or 14. There's no exceptions to that. The pipe work, you'll have 1 millibar drop over that pipe work. When it becomes a little bit more complicated for some people is, once the pipe goes into the boiler and to the gas valve, you're then allowed some more pressure loss through the appliance. So some manufacturers might say you can have 2 millibar pressure loss through the appliance. Some might say you can have 4 millibar. So you'd need to read the installation instructions to make sure that you know. But on that pipe work, we're allowed 1 millibar, and that's for your pipe sizing, to make sure you've got your pipe sizing correct. So you've done your pipe sizing correctly, but we're allowed 1 millibar over that pipe work. And I know that I'm going over and over on this, but I put one of these pictures in one of the gas groups that I'm in, and loads of people are going, oh, well, it's fine, it's allowed, you can work down to 14 millibar, it's in installation instructions, and a lot of people don't seem to understand the pipework, that you're only allowed 1 millibar over the installation of the pipework. So yeah, what I'll do with this, we'll come back to this, we'll chat about this a bit more. So if you've got any questions on it, please put your comments below. What I'll do now, we'll have a look at this zone valve and what I've done with this zone valve, because it just makes it easy. So anyway, yeah, let's go and have a look. This system is an S-Plan Plus. So we've got 3 zone valves on this system. One of the zone valves goes to the hot water, one of them goes to the zone for the downstairs central heating, and one of them goes for the upstairs central heating. We've then got a wiring centre. So we have a look at this wiring centre here, and then we've got the wires coming out going to the zone valves. So we could remove the top of the wiring centre, and we could start messing about with the wires in there. But in my experience, sometimes they will fall out. So what we've got to make it easier and safer, and no issues with wires coming out of places, and just it can be a nightmare. So what we've got is a 5-way connector, and then this 5-way connector, all we need to do is just wire the wires into the 5-way connector. Just makes it so much easier. Do you use the 5-way connectors? I'd be interested to know. As I say, I think they're absolutely brilliant. And as I've said previously, there's other manufacturers available. I'm not sponsored by Regan or anything like that. But I just think them 5-way connectors make it a lot easier. So what we did on there, we just changed the zone valve head. The head was sticking. When the customer was trying to turn it on and off, it just stayed open all the time and it wouldn't close. So we've just changed the head on it, and then the valve works perfectly well now. Yeah, I hope you found this video of some use. Please put some comments below on the video. What I'm going to do now, as promised, I said I'd let you have a little look around the van. So as you see now, we're in the Leeds City Council van at the moment. And I'm just going to bob over next door here, and we'll just have a look inside the British Gas electric van. So it's the ENV200 Nissan electric van. So yeah, let's go and have a look. So let's look inside. So if we look at the back of this, we can see that it's fully wrapped out. Some blow lamp holders there. Probably put one in there. Don't really use a blow lamp that much these days. Tend to use press fit. We'll have a quick look inside as well. Again, when we look inside, it's all racked out. Should be a good van for me, this, to be honest. And then if we just go around to the side, just have a quick look to the side. Tubs. And in the front, it's just more or less the same as the Leeds City Council van that we did, apart from just got a bit of rack in there, a few compartments, so I better put all my warning labels and things in that one. This van could end up being the worst decision I've ever made on vehicles. But time will tell. The mileage, or the miles on this one, is a lot less than the Leeds City Council one. So the Leeds City Council one, you're getting around 140 miles, which is fine for what I need. When I tested that, I was only doing between 30 and 40 miles a day. And then I looked at electric vans, because I wanted to buy an electric van really, and they were just a fortune. So I bought this British Gas one. It's cost me about, I think it was £12,000 plus VAT. So what's that? About 15 grand or so, maybe a bit less. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. Hopefully it's going to do between 60 and 70 miles on a charge. And I'll just give you honest feedback. If I think it's, if in my opinion it's the worst one I've ever had, I'll tell you. And if it's great, I'll tell you as well. So yeah, if you, as I say, if you want me to do a review on this van, put a comment below and let me know. Just to finish off, I know this has been quite a long video. What I'll do is I'll just send you over to Elliot. Elliot's got an interesting water leak for us. Very interesting. So yeah, let's go over to Elliot.
Hello again to the Alan Hart fan club. The importance of using decent overflow pipes and fittings, although we all know that they do crack eventually. If you can look in there, the overflow is worn through and cracked and doing what they do. Leaked up against the flow pipe and it's running out, worn through it and running out, caused a leak. So yeah, what are we going to do about condensate pipes, because they're all starting to wear out now? Just a thought. It's a beauty, isn't it? You can see that the focus, but let's see it there. Try and get there we go, you can see it a bit clearer there. Just right on all that green, leaking condensate through there onto the pipe, worn it through. So there we have it. The condense pipe was leaking on the joints, as we've all seen it do. I've had it happen on my pipe work. After years and years, the acidic water just eats through the plastic, and on this occasion, try and get the focus, sorry, I'm trying to put it in the middle of the screen for you. There, it's just eating straight through the copper, and today was the last bit it went through. So, section of copper cut out, and yeah, repaired. But yeah, it just shows how easy it can go. And you imagine if this was a gas pipe, that's quite a sizable, I mean, you'd like to think that you would smell the gas, but maybe not. That's quite a sizable hole. Word to the wise.
Thank you very much for that, Elliot. What a shocking, well, is it even shocking anymore? We know that the condensates are corroding pipes now. The condensates are splitting and leaking and corroding pipes, and this is getting to be a quite a common occurrence. I'm going to a few of these myself now, and if you have a look on them pipes where Elliot's just shown us, we can see on the other elbows that are not touching the pipe, that are not touching the copper pipe, we can see that they've also cracked as well. So there's an issue with using overflow pipe, or in my opinion, there's an issue, and we need to look into this a little bit further. If anybody has got any information that we can do a video on different condensate pipes and overflow and glues and anything like that, if you could get in touch with me, I'd be very grateful. I'll put my WhatsApp details below in here. Yeah, and send me a message, and let's see if we can, between us, see what's going on with condensate, because I think that's another issue now that we need to be looking at. And like all my videos, you know what I'm trying to do, I spend a lot of time, I mean a lot of hours actually editing and doing these videos, but hopefully we can try and all help raise the standards together. And that's not me saying that I'm the best gas engineer, because I'm just not, but I try and be better every day. So if I've done something in the past that's not as good as, you know, sometimes you go back to your own work and you think, oof, that don't look very good. One thing for sure is all the jobs I've ever done, they're all safe, and, you know, I flush the systems. You know, one thing with me is I always try and flush the systems as well as I can. But some pipe work won't look amazing, you know. Yeah, and that's just depends on job, it depends on customer, depends how much the customer wants to spend. Customers, well, a lot of customers, they're not interested in shiny pipes and, you know, all this. It's a matter of doing a job as quick as you can, but doing the job in a good fashion. And as I say, flushing the system, making sure gas is clipped and your electrics are safe and all your flues safe, etc. 25mm electrics away from gas, also other water pipes as well. Yeah, I'm definitely babbling on now, and this video's This video's gone on for a long time. I don't think anybody will be watching this video now. If you're still watching this video now, you need a medal. And thank you very much for all your support. Yeah, thank you.